What's going on, guys? My name is Kobe, and today I have another full body workout video for you guys. I'm actually going to be miking myself up and talking during the workout, so hopefully a lot of good information comes out of that. We'll see. So I went to work today from 1 to 8 p.m. and I still got to get gas and unpack and all of those things, but I wanted to take the time to kind of talk about starting out lifting and kind of how you have to set realistic expectations for yourself. So I've been lifting for about a year and a half, and a lot of my friends are getting into lifting right now, and there's this kind of like mindset early on of like, I'm scared of not doing enough. Like, am I doing enough? What if I don't? And you kind of graduate over time from that idea, because you start out preferring 7 days in the gym per week over like something like 3 days. But over time, the volume, the amount of times you're in the gym like consecutively, it all just kind of adds up. And I just wanted to let you guys know, like, the person that goes ham and quits after a month is not going to get as far as the person who maybe did a little bit too little volume and continued that for the rest of their life. Because really, that's what this is about, right? Fitness is a lifelong investment in your health. So just make sure, like, when you're starting out, be realistic. How many days can I be in the gym realistically? And if it's 3, so be it. Go on TikTok, go on that search bar, search 3-day workout split, and you decide like what looks the most enjoyable for you. But you definitely don't have to like go 7 days a week, do your 2 hours of lifting, 3 hours of cardio, and all of those things. Like for me, I just do 10,000 steps a day or 30 minutes of incline walk, and then I do full body every other day, 3 to 4 times a week. It works for me, and more importantly, I feel motivated to go to the gym consistently. And you have to treat it as a marathon. You cannot treat it as a sprint. If you sprint, you're just gonna get tired early on and just like be the guy who quits. You can't be the guy who quits. You have to be the one to set a routine for yourself that you enjoy doing for the rest of your life. You know, that's the goal. If you honestly like get burnt out, it's a sign that you're doing either too much or you're doing activities that you don't enjoy. So finding the balance between all of that is going to be my best recommendation. So hope this helps. I don't know what the next clip is going to be, but I'll try to vlog as much as I can. All right, we're back at home. I have some jasmine rice and fish, and I also have a banana that's not quite ripe yet. I'm also going to be eating a Rice Krispie before I leave, and I'll go over the supplements I take beforehand too. Sweet. So for our pre-workout concoction, we have a scoop of sebum, a scoop of this cluster dextrin. Just some intra-workout carbs that I'm sipping on beforehand. Because it's a longer session, I just want to make sure carb-wise I'm all set. But yeah, I'm just going to be sipping on this. Usually I'll get through half of this and then start driving, because I want about 30 minutes from when I finish my drink, I step into the gym. All right, we're out here. We got the Panada vertical chest press. And this is going to be my first exercise of the session. So I just want to make sure everything's moving properly. I was sitting in the car with the heater on, so like I'm feeling pretty good. Just got to make sure like the shoulders feeling okay, and I feel like my chest's working well. This is going to be about 90% of what I want my working weight to be. So I'm just going to do this for 1 rep. Depending on how this feels, I might do 2 plates, a 25 and a 10, or I might be able to add like 2.5 or a 5 on top of that. So we'll see. It's feeling pretty good. I think I'm just going to go for it. 2 plates, a 25, a 10, and a 5 on each side. All right, next up we got calf raises. So this one I also like to kind of warm up into it. I'm gonna do 2 sets of this one. Getting a good stretch at the bottom and really just like pressing until my heels are level with the platform. Got 6, happy with that. I don't really want to record my second one, so I think I'm just gonna update you guys how many sets or how many reps I get the second set. All right, so wide grip lat pull downs. For calf raises, I got the same weight, so 280 for 6, so I was able to match the number of reps for the second set as well. I know this specific stack is going to be a little bit heavier than the one over there, so I think I'm going to aim for 180 today. So this one, I'm just going to go straight into it. 170 for 1. So I like pulling down to my chin now, and once I know it's a struggle to get to my mouth level, I'm going to stop my set. Here we go. I'm aiming for 6, 7 reps around there. All right. Oh, okay. Yeah, I think the next one would have been a real struggle, so probably good to leave that one off. I think in total that could have been like 2 in the tank. All right, so we're still on the same spot, but I've switched out the attachment for like a bicycle handle. We're gonna hit 1 set of a neutral grip pull down, and I think I should be good to keep the same weight and get similar reps. And for this one, I can't stress enough. It's super important to like make sure you're starting from a place of like appropriate humeral elevation, like where the upper arm is. I want to be about here, and I want to pull until my arm is in line with my torso. And I want to do so in a way where I'm not getting a ton of elbow flexion. So I want to be around 90 degrees. So I'm going to be a little bit lean back at the start of my set. I'm going to stay that much lean back for the whole entire set. I'll take 5. So I can count that as 2 working sets for the lats and 1 working set for the rear delts. Since even though we're doing shoulder extension in the sagittal plane, the rear delts still get worked. So I can still count that towards a working set as well. But yeah, I think next we have hamstring curls. All right. I think I should be able to do 225. Get nice and locked in here. Got 225. All right. I want to get like super locked in on this one. Oh, there we go. Feels good. All right. Aiming for 5 or more. One more. Okay. I'll take that. 5. That is not bad. All right, next up we got triceps. This is the GOAT machine right here. This is an overhead extension, seated, super stable. All right, I'm gonna do a single rep at 65 and see how this feels. Oh, yeah. I don't know. Might lower the seat a little bit. I might not jump up from this. I think 65 is a good weight for me. So I'm gonna do that. All right, here we go. Yeah, that could have been one more in the tank, or it could have been 2 as well. For sure, the next one would have been a little bit of a grinder, so I'm pretty happy with how that went. 6 with like 2 RIR. All right, so usually I do an easy bar, but I didn't feel like doing too much weight, so got the Vulcan. The last time I did this, I was able to get 120, so let's see how that feels. I might go 130 this time, if anything. Yeah, 130 for sure. Dude, I feel like every time I use this cable stack, I always like slice myself on the actual cable. It's so annoying. All right, here we go. One more. Oh, yeah. Good set. Good set. If any of these plates fall off, I'm going to be so mad. I want to be internally rotated, and I am going to dead stop this. So then, because I'm doing super descending resistance profile, so I want to make sure I don't cut out that range of motion at the bottom. Here you go. I'll leave it there. I could have gotten one more. Would have been a real grinder. We have the whole rest of our session to get through. Going for that next one would not have been wise. I'm happy with 4. So next up we have this Prime Machine Preacher Curl. I'm going to use the regular handles. I'm going to put it on resistance setting 3, the hardest at the bottom. And I think I'm going to do, I don't know, I want to do 80 pounds, but that's a pretty big jump on this machine. And for biceps, especially because they're such a small muscle, it's going to be so hard to progress. I've been on 75 for a while because anytime we're training biceps, we can focus on posterior expansion of the rib cage. And what I mean by that is I don't really want to be tensing up my back muscles. I want to be thinking about where I direct my air. So just trying to get as much expansion on the backside as possible, like kind of in where the upper back muscles are, trying to get more expansion there. And I can do that if I don't tense up my back muscles as I curl. So if I'm doing like a potty curl where I'm like squatted down and I'm using my knees as a kind of like support, I'm almost thinking like pushing my elbow forward as I curl. So similar thing here, I'm just thinking about not really like digging into the pad because that's just gonna like tense up my back, and that is the opposite of what I want. So just gonna do 1 rep at 70 pounds here. See how this feels. And again, whenever I'm doing like a descending resistance profile, I just dead stop it. I don't like let it go. I still control the eccentric, but I want to make sure I'm not cutting that range of motion short at the beginning, since that's where it's hardest right now. It would be a disservice if I like use a bunch of weight only to like cut out the bottom half, you know? And we're back. Same exact machine, same weight and everything. I'm gonna switch the machine to number 1, so the middle range of motion. And we're gonna go for like the more neutral grip handles. Of course, like the biceps are still gonna be worked here, but I'm just trying to hit slightly different fibers. I mean, that just goes back to the whole thing of like, if you're doing a full body session, instead of doing like a second set of the same exercise, maybe you should do like a slightly different variation. So I'm changing the way my wrists are oriented, and I'm changing the resistance too. I'm not going for an ascending resistance profile, so I'm not like trying to hit my brachioradialis, just slightly different fibers. Not really trying to overthink it, just keeps me motivated too, rather than doing like a second set. Not to say there's no place for that, just preference. Again, I'm dead stopping this as well. All right. One more elbow flexor set, but that's going to be later on, towards the end of the session. All right, so next up, we got this hammer strength low row. I already kind of did my feeler rep, so I already know what weight I'm going to do. I'm going to do 2 plates and a 25 on each side. And I'm doing this more so for the traps and the rhomboids. I have another set of Kelso shrugs later on. But yeah, I'm mainly doing this for the traps, the rhomboids, and the rear delts. The lats are going to get worked as well, but obviously this machine is going to be more ascending. I just have to make sure, like, I'm going to probably do a little hold on the very first rep to see like kind of where my end range of motion is at. And also, if any of you guys are, you guys have like the Gym Reapers and you're debating on whether or not to get a pair of VersaGrips, I guarantee you the VersaGrips are way more worth it than these. The leather grips for the Gym Reapers, they're just a little bit too thick. And the VersaGrips, they're expensive as hell, but man, they make them real well. I don't know. I might invest in those soon. They're just so expensive. It's hard to like put out that kind of money, All right, here we go. Again, slight pause and just making sure I standardize my range of motion. A lot of people, they like rip it, and then they take their chest so off the pad that they include like some spinal extension too. And when we're training the lats, like I know I'm doing this for the traps and the rhomboids and the rear delts, but like the lats are still going to get worked. And anytime you're trying to work the lats, you shouldn't get any like spinal extension. It's really just going to make it worse of a movement for the lats. So just making sure I'm using this as like an actual chest support, and like you wouldn't like on a chest press, you wouldn't like take your back off the pad. So why would you in this case, And I feel like it's more normalized to kind of ego lift and just like rip your chest off the pad. So we just got to make sure we're using the chest support. We've got a back movement right into another back movement. We've got some Kelso shrugs, and my choice is going to be this this chest supported row. I'm just not bothered enough to kind of load up plates. So I'm gonna be honest, I'm not like a huge fan of Kelso shrugs, but I do them anyway. And that's because a lot of people, they think they can handle a lot more weight than they can. And they get so much spinal extension as they grind out the Kelsos. So it's just like, I think this is a case where, like for example, on a pec fly, if you have trouble with like your pelvis tipping forward, like sticking your butt out, getting like more spinal extension, then you can elevate your feet and that kind of like tucks your butt under. With these, what I find is that a little bit of anterior pelvic tilt is going to be useful because during the set, you're not going to be like extending your spine as much. So I guess a little bit of compression in order to like get less compression overall. I know that's a little bit confusing, but so I think 220 Felt pretty good. So I'm gonna do 240. I usually use straps, but since I'm dead stopping, it's not really a necessity. But again, tipping my pelvis forward a little bit, just like a little bit. All right, let's see how 240 feels. Seven. Next up, we got this Arsenal shoulder press. I think shoulder presses, especially pronated grip, you have the most people just kind of arching their back and compressing their rib cage. And part of that just comes with like ego lifting, you know? Like you just have to make sure that your whole back is connected to the pad the entire time. Um, and really the recommendation there for people who have like an extremely hard time feeling their delts and also a really hard time not arching their back is to just get a spotter and just like have them help you with the lift off and really just do alternating reps. So you would start up here and then you would kind of alternate. You guys can tell, like I get a lot of my stuff from Jonathan Warren currently, and really like you can imagine it like a soda can, you know, like you're either compressing the whole thing at once, or it's just like compressing each side individually. Like the overall compression that you're dealing with is going to be way less because it's alternating. So you might have an easier time not arching your back, keeping your rib cage stacked over your pelvis, and therefore you're going to have an easier time feeling your delts because we want like to increase relative motion, we want to decrease rib compression. Let's see how this feels. So setting a stack, making sure this is the position that I want to maintain the entire time. All right. I think I might be good with just adding a 5. Let's see how many we get for today. I really just want 5 or more with really good form. Here we go. Five. There we go. And my form was super solid. You notice like as I grinded out, like my last grinder rep would have been some of your guys' second or third to last rep, just because I didn't let my form deviate. So if you have form breakdown, like if I let myself arch and I just use my feet, I probably would have gone like 2 to 3 more, but no. I have to keep my form solid and make sure that the task at hand is defined and I am working within that definition. If I like think even for a second that I break that definition, stop myself. It's not worth it. And really like, that's where you get like the TikTok comments. It's like, oh yeah, 57 RIR. It's like, bro, maybe for you, maybe if by the end you're doing partials and you're arching your back and retracting your shoulder blades, but not for me. All right, next up we got SLDLs. So I mentioned before I've been on 315 for quite some time now. And beforehand, I was using a lot more weight, but I wasn't making it as much of a hinge as it should be. Plus, like now I'm just thinking more about foot pressure too. It's like towards the insides of my feet, really just making sure my form is really solid instead of just like ripping the weight and not really feeling my hamstrings. So just making sure like I'm doing everything I can, keep a neutral spine, and you know, just feeling my hamstrings as much as possible. 315 will do the job. Usually I get 7 with this like new and improved form. So I'm hoping for 7, but I feel like you never really know until you like jump straight into it. So gotta get amped up a little bit. Here we go. Oh, I'll take that. Take that. That's a good set for me. Next up, we got this Cybex lateral raise. I think I'm probably gonna end up being able to do like 130, 135 on this. So I'm just gonna do one at 120, one rep at 120 and see how that feels. And typically with these, and I'm turning away right now, but even if there was a chest pad, I would still sit pretty far back because I feel my shoulders more if I'm raising more in the scapular plane, like a Y raise, rather than like in the frontal plane. Ooh, I think 125 might do the trick here. But yeah, just resting real quick, and I'm gonna jump straight into it. So, especially with like the Life Fitness one or like the Matrix one, where there's an actual like chest pad, I never use it. I just sit all the way back on the seat, and I kind of raise in this scapular plane. So that's the way I do it, and that's the way where I feel my shoulders the most. But it just varies. It depends. A lot of people feel really comfortable raising in that frontal plane, and honestly, like I do that sometimes too. If I'm really trying to prioritize my shoulders, I'll do like a frontal movement plus a scapular movement. But yeah, that would be my recommendation for anyone who like doesn't feel super good about like raising in the frontal plane. Just try sitting back in the seat a little bit and just not using the chest pad whatsoever. I mean, this one doesn't even have chest pad, so here we go, 125. Five is good. 125 for 5. Okay, so I ended up leaving some reps in the tank. So I think I'll be able to stick with 125 and match that for the next set. So I'm not going to record my second set, but I'll let you know in the next clip if I end up matching reps. All right, next up, we got the best hack squat on the market, the Gymlico hack squat. I've got 2 plates and a 5 on each side, and I'm planning to get this for at least 5 reps, but we shall see. So, by the way, I was able to match the reps for the lateral raise, so 125 for 5 for both sets, and then I'm planning to get 5 here, but I'm trying to go full depth. With the SLDL, you'll notice I didn't really tap the ground, didn't go like full depth, almost, but not full depth. So it's still going to be pretty good for the adductor magnus, but I definitely want to go full range of motion for this. And by like full depth, I don't mean kind of this artificial depth that people get when they put the foam roller here and they go to the point where their butt like rolls under. So I'm going to the point where I can still keep a stack. So not artificial depth. And yeah, just trying to get some adductor in there too. I'm going to hit a working set of adductors later. But for now, this for 5 reps, hopefully. Oh, here we go. Good session so far. All right, next up, we got the GOAT chest press right here. This is the Strive or Prime chest press, and we're gonna do the neutral grip option, so then we get more of the upper chest fibers. All right, I'm hoping to get at least 5. So I guess I should talk about what I'm thinking about. Thinking about making sure my elbows don't flare out, but also there's a depression aspect, right? So I'm getting proper protraction, and I'm like staying depressed the entire time. With the neutral grip option, I always like raise the seat up, and then I think about scooping under, this kind of scoop motion, and I feel like that really helps avoid the whole like flare thing. So since it's so descending of a resistance profile, I'm okay with grinding a little bit more, as I mentioned before. So maybe I would have stopped at 6, but I wanted to be sure. I'm doing 7. I'm still sure that I'm going to be able to recover from that for the next session. So yeah, next thing. We got some reverse curls. This is my variation of choice, just a Vulcan. It's most enjoyable for me. All right, not much to say here. $67 for 7. All right, this is going to be my last 2 exercises, starting off with hip abduction. I'm going to be lean forward for this one and focusing on like that upper shelf. All right, here we go. Oh, 7. Okay. So we got hip adductions, last set of the day, and I got the stack plus 10. So we'll see how many I get with that. All right, here we go. Five is good. All right.